Treasure Cove Books, in association with The Horror Diaries, presents Creatures of the Night, an anthology of fangs, claws, and jaws. Narrated by Jessica Fernando. Written by Heather Beck. Copyright 2013. This audiobook is a work of fiction. Names, places, events, and characters are fictitious in every regard. Any similarities to actual events or persons, living or dead, are purely coincidental. All rights reserved. Except for review purposes, the reproduction of this audiobook in whole or part constitutes a copyright violation. Werewolf Hunting. Welcome to Grizzly Bear Lodge. Do you have reservations? Who would need reservations for this dump? Bill McNeil, the lodge owner, glared at the two men who stood in front of his desk. Then he began to laugh. "It's good to see you again," he greeted his best customers, Ethan and Mitchell Zimmerman. "How are you two doing?" "We're doing fine, Big Bear," Ethan replied. Bill was often called Big Bear because he looked just like that. He stood tall at 6'4" and had dark brown hair with a thick beard. "I hope your rifles are loaded, because the game is great around here. For some reason, the deer have been getting closer to the lodge." "Of course, you can't fire your rifles unless you're 300 feet away from the cabins," Bill reminded them. Bill owned 275 acres of land, which he used as a deer hunting ground. He'd also built big wooden cabins, where his guests could stay overnight and for the off-season. "They're loaded and ready to rock and roll," Mitchell replied as he handed Bill the registration cards for their rifles. "Come over tonight for a game of poker," Bill said, handing back the registration cards after checking them thoroughly. "We will," Ethan promised. "But first, we hunt." Bill chuckled and waved goodbye as he watched his customers disappear through the open doors. It was still early in the morning, and the sun was just starting to rise. Dew covered the grass, making it very slippery. A soft breeze blew through the evergreen trees, and chickadees chirped in the background. "It's so beautiful out here," Ethan commented as they walked in the woods. "The perfect day for hunting," Mitchell added. Suddenly, Ethan stopped dead in his tracks. "What is it?" Mitchell asked, unable to suppress his curiosity. Ethan motioned for him to be quiet. They stood in silence for several minutes, but heard nothing out of the ordinary. "I thought I heard a growl, but it's probably just the wind," Ethan finally admitted. "Probably was," Mitchell said, giving his brother an unappreciative look. "Now, can we please look for some real deer?" Ethan and Mitchell walked deeper into the woods. The abundance of thick trees blocked most of the sunlight, making it difficult to see. "There'll be a dozen deer in here," Ethan whispered. "That's great, but there's a problem," Mitchell whispered back. "What's that?" Ethan inquired, lifting his rifle higher as they turned a sharp corner in the woods. "We won't be able to get a decent shot because it's so dark. Let's head back into the sunlight. At least we can see where we're going." "All right," Ethan agreed as he lowered his rifle. "Let's go back." Ethan and Mitchell had just turned around when they heard a rustling coming from a nearby bush. "What the?" Ethan put his index finger over his mouth, signaling for Mitchell to be quiet. Then he raised his rifle and crept forward. His breath became shallow as he reached out to touch the shaking bush. His fingertips had nearly touched it when a large animal jumped out from behind the greenery. Ethan didn't have a chance to fire his rifle as the animal lunged at him viciously. With its massive hooves, the animal pinned Ethan by the shoulders and then bit him. After biting Ethan, the animal raised its head and looked straight at Mitchell. Shakily, Mitchell turned around and ran. He could hear the animal's heavy hooves scraping the ground as it chased him. It wasn't long until he could feel the animal's hot breath on his neck. Finally, Mitchell fell to the ground as the animal pounced on him. His screams echoed throughout the woods.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?